Imagine a dark and mysterious realm, where the sun never shines and the souls of the dead meet their final fate. A place ruled by powerful and enigmatic gods, whose names echo through the ages. Hades, the dreaded lord of the Greek underworld, and Pluto, his Roman equivalent. In this video, we'll explore the mysteries, myths, and legends surrounding these fascinating figures and their dark abodes. Get ready for an epic journey into the heart of the underworld. Before we dive even deeper into the darkness and uncover the secrets of Hades and Pluto, don't forget to subscribe to our channel. That way, you won't miss a single detail of our mythological explorations. Subscribe now and activate the bell to receive all our news firsthand. Origin and mythology of Hades and Pluto. Hades, in Greek mythology, is one of the three main brothers of the Olympian gods, alongside Zeus and Poseidon. Son of the Titans Kronos and Rhea, Hades was destined to rule the underworld after the defeat of the Titans and the division of the cosmos between the brothers. Pluto is the Roman version of Hades, although their representations and attributes may differ slightly. In Roman mythology, Pluto is also associated with the mineral wealth of the earth, reflecting his dominion over underground resources. The origins and stories of these gods are fundamental to understanding their functions and the way they were perceived in Greek and Roman cultures. Dominion and powers of Hades and Pluto. Hades and Pluto have absolute authority over the underworld and all the dead. Their domain is vast and includes all aspects of the underworld, from the final resting places of heroes to the regions of eternal torment for evildoers. In addition, Hades and Pluto control the rivers of the underworld, such as the Styx and the Lethe, which have deep meanings in mythologies. Although Hades is often portrayed as dark and implacable, he is not malicious, but rather just ensuring that souls receive their due. Pluto, on the other hand, is also seen as a god of wealth due to his association with the mineral treasures of the earth, showing a more benevolent aspect in some Roman traditions. The underworld, structure and kingdoms. The underworld, ruled by Hades in Greek mythology and Pluto in Roman mythology, is a complex and multifaceted realm. It is made up of several regions, each with its own characteristics and purposes. The Elysian Fields are the final destination for heroes and the virtuous, a place of peace and eternal happiness. Tartarus, on the other hand, is a deep, dark prison where titans and damned souls suffer perpetual torment. The underworld also includes Asphodel, where ordinary souls wander without much pleasure or suffering. The rivers of the underworld, such as the Styx, which symbolizes hatred, and the Lethe, which brings oblivion, are essential elements in mythology. These rivers demarcate borders and have magical properties that affect the dead and the living who cross them. The structure of the underworld is fundamental to understanding the Greek and Roman vision of the afterlife and the fate of souls. The relationship with mortals. Hades and Pluto have a complex relationship with mortals, marked by myths and significant interactions. Although they rarely rise to the surface, their decisions and actions have a profound impact on the lives and fates of humans. Stories like that of Orpheus and Eurydice illustrate the possibility of divine intervention in mortal affairs, as well as the limits of such intervention. Orpheus, a talented musician, descended into the underworld to rescue his beloved Eurydice and managed to enchant Hades with his music, obtaining permission to bring her back to life, albeit on a condition that he ended up violating. Another important story is that of Sisyphus, condemned by Hades to roll a stone eternally uphill, only to see it roll back down, as punishment for cheating death. These interactions reflect the ancients' view of justice and the inevitability of death. Hades and Pluto are gods who, although distant and often feared, play a crucial role in the afterlife and human morality, perception, and worship. Hades and Pluto, despite their crucial role in the Greek and Roman pantheon, were often perceived with awe and respect by the ancients. The cult of Hades was generally reserved and discreet, reflecting the fear the Greeks had of the god of the underworld. He was not widely worshipped in temples, but was honored in specific rituals and funeral ceremonies to ensure safe passage for the dead. Offerings of honey, milk, and the blood of sacrificed animals were common. Pluto, as the Roman equivalent of Hades, was also venerated in a similar way, although the Romans emphasized his aspect as the god of wealth due to his subterranean riches. Festivals such as the Feralia, celebrated in February, were dedicated to the dead and, by extension, to Pluto. The relationship with these gods was ambiguous. They were essential to the cosmic order, but their association with death and the underworld made them figures of mystery and respect. Artistic and literary representations. Hades and Pluto have been widely represented in art and literature over the centuries, reflecting their importance and the fascination they exerted on the ancients and subsequent generations. In Greek art, Hades is often portrayed as a stern and imposing man, sometimes with a scepter or a helmet that makes him invisible, a gift he received from the Cyclops. Sculptures, vase paintings, and reliefs often show him with his wife, Persephone, representing the myth of the abduction. In literature, works such as Homer's The Iliad and The Odyssey, as well as Ovid's The Metamorphoses, explore his stories and myths. Pluto, in Roman art, is portrayed in a similar way, but often with more emphasis on his association with wealth and abundance, reflecting the Roman syncretism of Greek gods with Roman characteristics. Representations in mosaics, statues, and literary texts, such as Virgil's Aeneid, highlight his role as guardian of the underworld and his interactions with other gods and heroes. These representations have helped shape the image of these gods in popular culture, perpetuating their relevance over time. Important myths involving Hades and Pluto. The myths surrounding Hades and Pluto are fundamental to understanding their personalities and functions within Greek and Roman mythology. One of the most famous is the myth of the abduction of Persephone, in which Hades, in love with Persephone, the daughter of Demeter, kidnaps her and takes her to the underworld to be his wife. This myth explains the seasons. Demeter's sadness at her daughter's absence results in winter, while her joy at Persephone's return brings spring and summer. Another notable myth is that of Orpheus and Eurydice, where Orpheus descends into the underworld to rescue his beloved wife Eurydice. With his enchanting music, Orpheus persuades Hades to allow Eurydice to return to the world of the living, but fails to obey the condition of not looking back until they are both out of the underworld, resulting in the definitive loss of Eurydice. The myth of Sisyphus, condemned by Hades to roll a stone eternally uphill only to see it roll back down, serves as a symbol of futile effort and eternal punishment. These myths not only explain natural phenomena and offer moral lessons, but also illustrate the ruthless and just nature of Hades and Pluto, as well as their complex interactions with mortals and other gods. Hades and Pluto in modern culture. The influence of Hades and Pluto extends into modern culture, where they continue to be fascinating figures in various forms of media. In literature, they appear in works such as Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson and The Olympians, where Hades is portrayed with a complex personality and an important role in the plot. In the movies, Hades is a memorable character in Disney's animated film, Hercules, where he is presented as a charismatic and comic villain. Pluto also appears in films and series that explore ancient mythologies, such as in the HBO series Rome, where he is mentioned in religious and cultural contexts. In comic books, Hades has appeared in stories by DC Comics and Marvel, standing out as one of the gods of the Greco-Roman pantheon. Video games, such as Hades by Supergiant Games, offer a modern, interactive interpretation of the god of the underworld, allowing players to explore his mythology in an immersive way. In addition, Hades and Pluto are often mentioned in academic studies and discussions on mythology and ancient religion, showing their continued relevance in understanding ancient cultures and their influences. These modern representations keep the myths and cultural importance of Hades and Pluto alive, adapting their stories for new audiences and contexts. Did you enjoy exploring the mysteries of Hades and Pluto? Then don't forget to subscribe to the channel and activate the bell for more fascinating dives into mythology. Until the next adventure.